What's up, folks? I'm Dave Swift, and this is another episode of That LTD Life. This is the series where I look for the best business software with a one-time payment so that you don't drown from software subscription debt. Today, we're looking at a tool to generate ads for your Meta account, Instagram, Facebook, things like that, using AI. Better yet, after the ads have been running for a while, you can actually use a chatbot to ask about the performance, possible ideas for tweaking things, and then generate new ads right inside of the tool. This is Bestever. Is it Bestever? We're gonna find out as I review this tool in this video, but you should know this is dropping on AppSumo right now as of the release of this video. So I'll have a link down below in the description. I'm only able to get this out on time because AppSumo is sponsoring today's video and they let me know that it was coming out. So much thanks to AppSumo. And again, if you wanna support me, grab anything over at AppSumo using the link in the description. So here is my Bestever account. And the first thing you'll want to do, in fact, it's part of their onboarding process, is to connect up your brand. Now, you can have multiple brands connected to a single account. As you can see here, I'm gonna add in an additional brand right now. So what you do for this, it's pretty simple. You just enter in your URL. It could be your URL or your clients or even your potential clients if you wanted to use this to try to get your foot in the door. I don't think that would be such a terrible idea. You just enter in the URL here. Their AI agents will go out and get all of the information, scrape images, get the content, basically develop a persona about who your ideal client would be based on the content on your website. Now, this is HTLT Supplements. They're a supplement company run by a YouTuber by the name of Greg Doucette. A lot of people love Greg Doucette. A lot of people dislike Greg Doucette, but I thought it would be really fun to take his website here and see how we could generate some supplement ads for Facebook or Instagram without doing very much work. And we're even going to analyze one of his biggest competitors. More on that in a moment. So all I need to do here is just grab the URL, which is HTLT Subs, and I'm going to paste this in. By the way, absolutely no connection to this brand whatsoever. They don't know I'm making this video. Now, as you can see here, I've just entered in the URL. I hit create, and it's going to go out and grab all of the brand information. We're talking logos, colors, any sort of assets that are available on the website, text. It's going to start to digest things and develop a customer persona based on what it finds on your site. And here we go. It's all done. It filled out the brand name. It gave me a brand URL and then a very brief brand description here, HTLT, which means harder than last time, because when you work out, you want to work out harder than you did last time. That's kind of Greg's thing. It helps you reach your fitness goals. It was founded by Greg Doucette. He's a bodybuilding professional. It offers supplements, apparel, and cookbooks to push the limits and train harder. And then you can see the logo that I pulled in here, as well as a lot of the product images. Now I could always add more, right? I could click the plus button and then just drop my own images into any of these sections. It would be nice if maybe I could reorganize them, like this is a product and I want to move it up there. Unfortunately, that's not the way this works, but it's okay. I've not found a real differentiating factor between having things under products and just available as images other than organizationally. The colors that it brings in are not always spot on. You can see here that it's got a bunch of different shades of blue. Now, these are mostly coming from like the packaging. That's where they're going to generate these from. Now, if it actually looked at the website, you'd see there's really only one kind of call to action color. It's this bright yellow. And that unfortunately did not get picked up from the scraper. So I'll just use any sort of, hex code picker and just grab this one myself. So I'm going to grab this color here. I've got a Mac app. I think it's just called like color, and it's going to go ahead and grab that. And then over in Bestever, I can add that as my own custom color. I'll just paste in the hex code right here. Okay, this looks pretty good to me, but there's one more thing that it did in the background, which was to create a bunch of customer personas. I just clicked right up here where it says manage personas. It's going to pop up in this sidebar where we can see the personas of people who might be shopping for supplements, an aspiring bodybuilder with a limited budget, a busy professional seeking efficient nutrition, a fitness enthusiast. You get the point here. There's a lot of slight variations on the types of customers who might be buying supplements from HTLT. Now you can edit any of these. So if it gets it close but not spot on, just hit the edit button. You can change things. I wish the text field was a little bit bigger here or resizable, but otherwise, it's great to be able to edit them. And of course, you can add your own. So if you want to generate a persona, maybe you've already got a customer persona, or you want to generate one with another tool or write one by hand, you could definitely do that here. Just label it whatever you like. And then later on, we can use these personas when we're generating ads so that the ad is kind of targeted to a specific market. Now I'm just going to stick with what they gave me because obviously I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. We'll go ahead and hit save changes. And now we can go ahead and create some ads. Now, one way that people have been creating ads for, I guess, ever is to look at their competition. Now, there is one company that HTLT competes with quite a bit. They're called Gorilla Mind. So Gorilla Mind's the competitor, HTLT is the hero in this scenario. So it'd be really nice to get a grasp of what they're doing to advertise their products on Instagram. So we can do that with Bestever. The only thing I need to do is go right down here where it says competitors, click, and now I'm gonna go and manage my competitors. I've already got one added in, and I'm gonna go ahead and type in Gorilla Mind. There we go, it found it, even though I forgot a space. I'm gonna go ahead and add it as a competitor. And now I've got both my competitors up at the top here. So I can see Thorn was the one I did before I hit record, and now I can click over to Gorilla Mind. It's still bringing in their advertising info, but if I just let this spin for a moment, we should see any ads that they're currently running. All right, very quickly, I've got my competitive analysis. Now, up at the top, it mentions that it's gonna show me 58 of 65 ads. There's actually more, so I can change the date range to see more ads. Then I've got this summary of their advertising strategy, essentially, so I can scroll through this, read everything, and get a really good grasp of what they're trying to do. Now, this is the type of competitive analysis that you would want your agency to do for you, or if you're a provider that you'd spend a lot of time doing for your clients, and you get it within a few clicks. It's kind of mind-blowing, but it's very in-depth, right? We're getting very specific results here, what they're targeting, what their creative approach is. Yeah, just a pretty impressive analysis. Now remember, we're looking at 58 ads here, and out of those 58 ads, 49 of them are targeting a warm audience, with only 9 targeting a cold audience. Then for campaign type, they're mostly focused on conversion. So this is very valuable data, especially if I'm new to the supplement market and I could say, okay, well, I need to find people who are already familiar with my brand, and then I want to focus on just selling them things, right? I don't need to build brand awareness. Once I can maybe organically get a little bit of traction on social media through Facebook or Instagram posts, maybe YouTube posts, well, then I can just go for the sale using ads. That could be some very valuable insight. Also valuable, they're using mostly images. I know a lot of people think everything needs to be video based, but out of the 58 ads, only 12 are video and 46 are images. Now, as I scroll through, I can see all of the actual ads that they are running, and then they categorize them like this is a before and after ad, or this is a features highlight. And I can even see when they began running the ad and how long it's been running, which is a pretty valuable piece of insight because the longer an ad has been running, it's more likely that it's doing pretty well for them. Now, of course, if I want to get a better look at any of the ads, I can click on them and blow them up a little bit bigger, and I can easily right click and save the images. So this is the competitors section. There's another part of the tool that's very similar called inspirations. And this is not necessarily drilled down on one specific competitor, but more just a topic. So let's say I looked up supplements. Now I can see a lot of supplement ads, what's currently running, what do they look like? Now, what I like here is there's a button to create a similar ad. I actually think that Bestever should consider adding this type of button right into the competitors section. It would be very useful to just basically duplicate or create a similar type of ad that your competitor is currently running. If I could click right here and generate a similar ad, but otherwise it's easy to just re-upload them. What we're gonna do right now is go under inspirations. I'm gonna search for supplements one more time, and we're gonna create an ad based on an existing ad. So I really like this ad right here where it says choose your weapon, and then it's got 3 different products. So I'm gonna try to create a similar ad to this. I'll choose create similar ad, and it's gonna pop me right over into the compositions area right over here. We've not visited this separately, but trust me, it's the exact same screen where you actually have the AI creating the ad for you. The ad type that you can choose is a LinkedIn image post, an image ad, a LinkedIn text post, a video ad. Yes, it can do video. We'll address that, as well as a catalog ad. So for now, we're gonna stick with the plain old image ad. I'm gonna enter in an about topic here, and I'm not gonna be very specific here. I'm not like drafting a full creative brief. I just said create an ad comparing GO2 Max, Turk Builder Plus, and creatine. Those are 3 products from HTLT. Now I've got my styling reference over here. That was the inspiration. I could also bring in that competitor's ad by just clicking the plus button, and I downloaded it before, so I'll just drop it in. Now, because I really kind of want to create this type of ad, I'm gonna remove it for now, but I just wanted to show you that it's very easy to add your own images from your competitors or anything else you've just seen that you want to try to replicate the look of. So we'll get rid of this one for now. And then we're going to go under featuring and make sure that our products are selected. So I'll click the plus button here. And I know that some of the tools came in without any effort. They just were scraped off the website. Like here is GO2 Max. I call them tools. Some of the supplements came in without any effort. Here is Turk Builder. I'll add that one in. And I don't have a picture of their creatine. So I'm going to go over to their website. I'm going to look for creatine. Here it is. And just right click and save this image. All right, there we go. I've added in creatine. Oh, I skipped a section, a very important section. It's the targeting. So if I click back up here, it's going to show me all of my existing personas. Now, very important, you cannot add a persona from this screen. So it does have a link to go over to the screen to add a new persona, but you got to make sure you've added in your personas before you generate the images. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose a busy professional seeking efficient nutrition. That's going to be our target audience. You can choose more than one if you'd like. And if you have regrets, of course, you can remove them. So there we go. I've got my target audience. I've got my style reference. I've got my featured images. There's a knowing section down here where you can actually pull in insights from your existing ads, right? So you connect up your ad account. We'll look at this later on. And then I can bring in the insights that it generates right into the composer. So the AI has that information about what works well from previous campaigns. A really cool touch. But for now, we're going to skip that section. We're going to go to the aspect ratio. I'm going to do a square image for this, although maybe I should do it the same so that it can actually fit. No, we're going to see how it does. Switching it over to square. There is a more section down here. So if you want to add any additional instructions, you can enter them there. And when you're all set, you can click the go button and the AI will start to generate the images. Now, one thing I didn't do was ask it to change colors, and I'm already having regrets about that because I don't think HTLT really wants the very light pink kind of palette that we saw earlier. So we'll have to look at how we can modify that after the images are generated, because I have a feeling they're going to be in that same color palette, seeing as I didn't specify otherwise. Actually, it did a great job. It did not use those colors, so I'm fairly impressed here. And it even labeled things fairly accurately, like GO2 Max is for endurance, Turk Builder is for strength, and creatine you could say is for, a lot of different things, but there you go. Looks good. Now, I do notice that not all of the images are perfect. Like there is some typos basically on creatine. It says, it spelled it wrong. It did the typical kind of like AI spelling issue thing. So I'd have to regenerate these, right? I can click remix, and even here I can just enter in some other custom instructions like I want a dark red background, and make sure to spell creatine monohydrate correctly. Now, my model that I am generating with is GPT. I can switch over to Google if I like. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to stick with GPT. That is selectable before as well. We didn't have to wait to regenerate these to do that. But I'm going to go ahead and see if it can recreate these with a dark red background and hopefully spell creatine monohydrate correctly. All right, here we go. We got our regenerated ads right here. So we can see the original ads that were created, then the regeneration, and I can continue remixing them if I want. Now, I want to edit these a little bit, so I can open them up in the editor. I'm going to choose this one right here. I'll click preview, and then there's a button that says edit in Canvas. That's going to let me open up the Canvas editor. And if I want to do something like replace this product with an existing one, I can just go over to images and choose it. So here it is. I'm just going to drop this right in. This is the actual package, so I can resize it and kind of fit it onto the image. That way I can keep the design that the AI created for me, but now I'm using the real images. Now you can take this as far as you want. So you might want to recreate the entire thing here. Like when I open the editor, it kind of screws up the text a little bit. So I've got to resize it. I could add in a new background if I want. I'll maybe choose a shape and, have it go a certain width, cover the whole thing here, choose the color, go with a dark red background, make it a gradient. You get the idea. It's not a full-blown Canva replacement, but it's a decent amount of editing that's built right in. So if you need to make a quick change to your ad, you can select some text, change whatever you want, and you're good to go. Now, I think this looks pretty good. I can click preview. It hides all of the tools. And when I'm sure, I can go ahead and hit save. Now, you do have the option to download the images right here, either as JPEGs or as PDFs. So we've seen some image ads now, but you can also do video ads as well. I want to let you know that it's not quite quite as powerful as other tools I've reviewed on this channel in terms of the video ad creation. You can't make your own custom avatars and you can't clone your own voice, but it will do a pretty good job given the built-in limitations. Let me show you how it works. So let's go over to generations here and we'll go to video creatives, and you're gonna see that I've already generated some video ads already. So let's make a new one here. I'll hit generate up at the top and I can choose my brand right over here. That's an important step. If you've got a lot of brands loaded in, you wanna make sure that you're on the correct one. Otherwise, your personas and your images are gonna be all off. So here we go. I'm gonna create a video ad. I can create the concept and I'm gonna be really brief here to say sell Turk Builder Max, and my target audience is going to be aspiring bodybuilders. I can choose a style reference if I want to, but I'm just gonna leave that blank for now. Featuring, I'm gonna add in some products. So let's go ahead. We'll choose this guy here. This is Greg, and then I'll add in the Turk Builder product right down here. Once again, I could connect up my reports if I had any generated. I don't, so I'm gonna leave that blank. I can choose my aspect ratio here as either portrait, so that's good for Instagram, or landscape if you're gonna be posting on something like YouTube and you're not doing a short. Then we can choose our duration here. It can be anywhere from just 5 seconds all the way up to 30 seconds. So you're not creating full length videos here. And then I get to choose my actor. And this is where it's kind of limiting. I've already created this guy here, Christian, but I can create a new actor if I'd like. And my description here is a young bodybuilder struggling to make gains. I'll go ahead and enter that in. And now it's going to go ahead and give me some options for the appearance of the actor. All right, we've got our options here to choose from. We got this guy, there is this guy, here is this, they're all very intense. Here's another one, and here's our final one. I'm going to go with that guy, and we'll give this guy a name. Let's call him Victor. I don't know, he looks like a Victor to me. And then I've got a voice to choose from down here. So it's given me the confident young American male. Let's see what that sounds like.
It's important to understand how clear I am and how easily it is to convey my words.
We do have a bright, friendly American male.
Hey, my name's Matt, and I'd be happy to voice over any of your faceless videos, whether it's YouTube or anywhere else.
Or a casual, natural male.
I think this is a really nice way to just talk naturally together.
So the voices are pretty good. I like that casual natural male. I'm gonna go with that choice. Now, there was a bunch of other ones here, but these are the recommended voices. So I imagine these might not be as good a fit. I'm gonna hit save, and now I've got Christian, which was an actor I created previously, and Victor is my new actor. So I'm gonna choose Victor as the actor for this video. And if I had more custom instructions, again, I could leave them right here. I don't, so I'm gonna proceed to creating the ad by clicking go. All right, things have progressed to the next step. I'm now on the storyboard phase. So I can see my prompt right here. This is essentially going to be like the script for the video and then the assets that will be used. So in this case, it's going to use that actor image that was generated. If I click preview, I can see they've got that same actor just in a different angle. If I wanted to see what this is going to look like, I click down here to generate the scene. This is going to use some of my credits, which we have not talked about yet. The AppSumo plans start as low as $39, but I think most people are going to go to tier 2 and above because that gives you unlimited image generation, which is pretty helpful when you're creating ads. And if you can be convinced to go up to tier 3, you can also analyze unlimited brands. Pretty nice. But what we were just talking about with credits, you can't generate any video at all on tier 1. You get 200 credits on tier 2, 400 on tier 3, 800 on tier 4. And if you go up to tier 5, you get an astronomical, I think it's like 3,500 credits or something. Check me on those. I might not be exactly accurate, but you get a lot of credits on tier 5. So if you need to generate a lot of images, definitely go for one of the higher end tiers. But I love the fact that if you're just trying to grab a tool to get better at advertising and maybe you have a small brand, $150, you don't have to pay an expensive consultant anymore. I also love the fact that if you are an expensive consultant, you'll be able to trim down things. You won't need as much staff because you can go with tier 4 or tier 5 and it's going to do a lot of work for you. All right, let's see what one of these looks like. I'm just going to click on them all. I've got some credits to burn through. So we're going to generate them all and we'll watch the best ones. All right, here we go. We've got all 4 of our scenes. They work together kind of as one ad. So let's check this out. I'm going to play the first one.
Trying to bulk on a tight budget?
So there you go. You can see that's pretty well done. The lips don't match up perfectly, but I think the image is so compelling, you might stop to look at it just because it clearly looks better than reality. All right, then in our next scene, this is coming from a still photo of Greg on his bicycle. So let's see what this looks like.
I wasted cash on tiny bottles that promised gains and delivered almost nothing before.
That one is more impressive to me because it looks very, very lifelike, and it was generated from essentially this still image where he is not moving at all. So, all right, scene 3.
Then I switched to Turk Builder Max. 600 milligrams of Turk and EC Disterone per serving, under $30.
All right, I think that was fairly decent. Let's move on to the final scene.
Grab Turk Builder Max, bulk smarter, not poorer.
And there's your ad. Now, to me, that's very clearly AI generated. You're not going to fool anyone that that was a human quite yet. However, I see a lot of brands doing that on social media, so perhaps it's actually getting some sales. I'm not entirely sure. When I'm all done here, if I like it, I can click right up at the top where it says merge scenes. It's going to blend this together into one cohesive video. It opens them up in an editor where I can select a clip, add some captions, trim clips if things were a little bit too long or awkward. And then when I'm all done, I can click right up here to export the video. Then it downloads and you're good to go. Okay, so now we have completed the create section of the app. We've created image ads and we've created video ads. The other section of the app is the analysis. Here you connect up either your Meta or your LinkedIn accounts. Very easy to do so, by the way. Just go to settings and then go to connections and you'll be able to connect up your accounts right there. You can choose the specific ad accounts that you have access to in your Meta accounts, by the way. So if you've got your client accounts there, you could go ahead and just choose the ones that you want to work on. Then you can go ahead and do either the ask analysis section or generate reports. So ask analysis is very much like having a chat with your ad analyst, right? If you've got one on staff or you've ever worked with anyone who analyzed your ad performance, you can either analyze the data or the creative. So if I'm chatting with the creative analyst, I'm going to ask it questions about creatives that are working well. What are the top creatives? What are the top creatives return on ad spend? What are my top performing videos by hook rate? And what is my average CTF across top of funnel campaigns? So click-through rate across top of funnel campaigns. You can ask anything you want. These are just some suggestions to get you started, but you could literally type anything you want in the chat box there to get information. Now, I apologize, I can't give you any real examples here, but I think you get the idea. You can chat with things. It's going to go out to Meta or LinkedIn and then pull in the real data and surface things for you so that you don't have to kludge through the business manager and find the exact information that you want. Now, moving into the reports section, we can have it generate reports from our data that are easily digestible. So like top performing creatives, top creatives driving action, and you can even create your own report over here. So just hit new report. It's going to take you to their builder where you can have it basically analyze either your data or your creatives to help you understand exactly what's going on with your ad account. So if you're doing a data report, you'll choose your date range, then sort by a specific metric. So like clicks, leads, whatever it is that you're trying to track. We'll stick with spend, the default. Then we can add in some additional metrics. So we're sorting by spend, but maybe we also want to see clicks and impressions as well. And I'll add in frequency too. Now you can group the ads together. So if they have a specific creative, a specific name, or an objective, you can group them by that. And we can even add in some filters. So let's say I only want to see ads that have had at least 1,000 impressions. Everything else, I'm just going to let mature a little bit before I make any decisions. Then once you've got all of your parameters the way you want them, hit create reports and you'll be good to go. Very similar options for the creative. You'll set your date range and your primary metric. But then you can also choose a specific creative element to analyze. So like the call to action, the hook, the color scheme, etc. And just like before, we get secondary metrics to consider as well as filters. So there you go. That is Bestever, a fairly compelling usage of AI to generate and analyze your ads. It's one of the better tools, no pun intended, in this space that I have tried out. It's not without its flaws. However, I'd like to see some additional features added in, like potentially maybe exporting your ads over to Canva or even posting them directly from the tool right into Facebook to kind of have a direct integration that way. Right now, all of the data comes out of Meta, but it doesn't go back in, and that could be something they add in. There's also no team component to this tool, which would be a really nice addition. There is the option to share things. So like here's a competitive analysis and I can click share competitor. It generates a URL and then I can open that up in any old browser. So here is an incognito window, meaning that I'm not logged in and I can still view the entire competitive analysis. It does have a little mention of the brand up here, which I don't hate, but if you're setting that to a client, it'd probably be best to leave it off. I mean, it's in the URL. People can figure that out these days, but just thought I'd mention it. It does have the little banner up here if you share the report. I will add that nothing would stop you from just copying and pasting this into your own report, but that's work. And a lot of times people want these things automated because you're dealing with lots of clients. But I really do like the competitive analysis and inspiration sections, especially how I can click one button in the inspiration and just generate a very similar ad that looks pretty darn good. I do think the video section has a little ways to go, but I might be a little bit biased since I am a human that creates videos for a living, so I really don't want my job to be swallowed up entirely by the AI robots quite yet. I mean, quite frankly, any of these tools on their own is probably worth the price of admission, but the ability to connect up your data from Meta and then just chat with it, that is really, really great. Now, you could download and export this and upload it over to ChatGPT or Claude and kind of do something similar, but to have it just connected, very, very nice. That's the part of the tool that truly does feel like it's replacing a human expert, which is both thrilling and exciting and also a little bit scary. Overall, I'm gonna give Bestever a 7.9 out of 10. I really like this thing. I highly recommend anybody who's just getting started with ads, dig in here to get a very solid background, and anybody who's serving clients, consider adding this to your repertoire because you're gonna be able to do a lot more work and then you can either take some time off or lower your prices so that you can get more clients. In the end, we're all gonna have to sort this out for ourselves, how AI allows us to do more or charge less or however it ends up working out for your business. I do think you want to stay up with these latest tools so you can get a full grasp of everything that's changing because it does change so quickly. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. If you want to grab Bestever or anything else at AppSumo, don't forget to check my link in the description. And my thanks to AppSumo for sponsoring today's video. Hit me up in the comments with any questions. Hit like if you like the video, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next review.